In 1980, on a quiet stretch of Venice Beach, 7 youthful architects gathered for what would become an iconic photograph. At the time, they were bold innovators, shaping a new architectural language rooted in Los Angeles, but destined for global impact. This single image captured the energy of a moment, a group of creators poised to redefine their craft. 45 years later, 4 members of that group reunite to reflect on their groundbreaking careers, the city they helped transform, and the enduring legacy of their work. Tom Main is a Pritzker Prize award-winning architect and co-founder of Morphosis, known for bold, unconventional buildings in cities across the globe. Eric Owen Moss is best known for transforming a stretch of Culver City into a neighborhood of wild, one-of-a-kind structures. Craig Hodges is a designer who blends architecture with pop culture and technology, co-founding the influential firm Hodgetts & Fung. Frederick Fisher has created many beloved spaces for museums, schools, and artists that feel welcoming and serene. Through candid conversations and a restaging of that legendary photograph, this film charts the evolution of their ideas, their friendships, and the architectural soul of Los Angeles itself.
Oh my God, it's building.
Nice to see you.
Honor
Okay.
and a privilege.
Okay.
Great to see you.
Hi, Fred. Craig?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about the photo. How did it happen?
In 1980, I believe, Beverly Russell from Interiors magazine called me and said she'd like to have a picture of young architects in the West Coast. And she said, I'll arrange it. All you have to do is show up. So we all met, and it was a little bit tough. We were milling around, and I think the first pictures I took, I asked everybody to stand with their arm's length so that they were 2 arms away from each other with the ocean in the background, which is a really nice photo, but the people were small, and it just wasn't close enough. So then we gathered around, and no one was really taking command from where I would like them to be. So I just pulled a joint out and I lit the joint and passed it around. And after that, it was more congenial and it was easy to take the picture.
And then what happened to it?
What happened to the joint? I guess it got smoked up. Or what happened to the photo?
Yeah.
It got smoked too.
Yeah, all of the photos went to Interior and I got some of them back. So the money shot I got back, so.
Now, looking back, do you think Beverly Russell chose the right lineup of people? Did she catch the right 7? Or were there people that should have been in this picture that aren't?
There was, yeah, no, that's interesting. There was Roland Coate, who was a really good architect. Crazy
Michael
guy.
Rotundi.
There was Rotundi. And then there was Len Small, who was, you know, very forceful and very present.
Well, I think that might be part of its enduring interest, is that the simplicity of it. Is that you could say, well, you could add 2, 3, 4, 5 people and still be relevant, but the simplicity of 7 people on the beach in street clothes, the fact that you had this amount of energy pulled together quite simply, show up at the beach this time, take a picture. There's nothing else going on there. To me, it was a quintessentially Los Angeles phenomena to be able to pull something like that off that had that kind of tone to it. Can you imagine what would the New York version of that be?
They'd all be in suits and ties.
Thank you for bringing up the tie, because Eric is wearing a tie that is so stand out in the photo. Here it is. Look at you with your tie, Eric.
Telegraph Avenue tie.
There it, Look at the tie. You're the one with a tie. And it's not just a not noticeable tie.
I'm the Brooks Brothers guy, still am.
But I think the the variety of clothing actually is a big part of the content of that message about Los Angeles and about the heterogeneity. Although we're all colleagues and very fond of one another, at least I can say that. However, we all have our own individual personalities. So it really pushed against that idea of the New York Five and the sort of architects with their architectural costumes.
Well, we didn't think about it in that way.
No, we didn't think about it even.
Versus
The beauty of it.
Not
That
at
was
all.
the beauty of it.
They thought about it in that way.
They did, exactly. But
We
we
all
didn't
had our own
float it.
projects. We all asked different questions, but there was a connectivity at the same time.
Yeah.
But to outside observers, I would say it's the band. It's like a rock and roll photograph of a bunch of musicians on the beach. Is that
Well, that's very Los Angeles as opposed to what was happening on the East Coast and how people dressed on the East Coast.
If I was interested in your mention of the original setup was the group spread out arm's length with the ocean in the background, and you ended up with something different. The group is clustered closer together. You're elevated somehow. It seems like you're standing on a box or a ladder or something. And also, it's interesting because you chose a point of view where you see buildings going into perspective to nothing, and then you see the ocean. So you've got the city at the boundary. This is more, what's the word, liminal? Whereas the other one is just this infinity of the ocean. Was that?
I don't
what was your-
remember standing on anything, but I can tell you that I'm probably 2 inches shorter now than I was then.
Because it looks like
Yeah, but you're above
like a
Frank.
foot-
You're above
a
Frank
foot
Gehry.
above
Yes.
Frank.
So,
And Frank's not tall.
I would seldom take a picture like this. So I think that I must have been standing on something.
Yeah. So you look at this from a Rudolf Arnheim kind of point of view. And you see, like Frank is actually very present down in that corner and initiating the arc. And then you are very present on the other end. And then there's this filler. So compositionally, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
It is interesting, but also Beverly Russell made a choice because she could have had a row of them standing at arm's length and everybody's equal. She chose to run this one, so she probably did want to say something about Frank's role in relation to you all. And he's also kind of he's with you, but he's looking away. There's possibly
Yeah.
some ambivalence.
It's really interesting to start analyzing the picture.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we said it earlier. If you look at this group of people, the background would be either Ray Cappy and a group of architects that were definitely connected to the case study, to a couple-decade thing, or it's the corporate office.
Or the
and
corporate
it's
office.
William Pereira, and it's Luckman, and it's Beckett. Established offices, right? And then this group are clearly a new model.
right.
All starting on their own, by the way, rejecting either of those two schools.
Although Frank worked at Victor Ruin. Again, another way in which Frank was
at
different.
this point, he had already
by this point,
left that
yes,
completely.
Yes, yeah.
And then that goes back to our conversation. It seemed like he was comfortable hanging out with this young group. You'd have to ask Frank.
Well, I think everybody, it was, in a way, had their own turf or their own direction, and we weren't really competing with each other. My surprise was Frank, who I had worked for, and he was virtually a generation older and had a very substantial practice. And my first reaction was, what's he doing here with these kids?
That was right after, though, he had moved his office to Brooks Avenue
Yeah.
and wanted very much to be part of the scene. I think on Frank's part, it was this more, would be something he would really want to do at that point in time, because he was just trying to separate himself from his corporate practice and,
So by associating himself with the punks.
Yeah, I think so.
We need to ask Frank.
He succeeded.